Banana Fish in the City is a project where I place 100 ceramic banana fish around Toronto as public art, and this is why I did it. This project is partially inspired by me just wondering what the hell is wrong with everybody. It seems like we have all of the policy and the science that we need to be able to make the world a better place, and yet we are not. So it started getting me wondering about what the role of an artist could be in making the world a better place. If there's something about our culture that is preventing us from having the future that we want, then maybe the people who are creating and influencing culture should be the ones to change that. So Banana Fish in the City is kind of about how the banana fish have changed me for the better, and how the change that we're all looking for might actually be simpler than you think. The banana fish are doodles, and they're very simple. The thing that's good about them is not that they're an amazing technical feat, it's that it's an imaginative idea. Every day I practice imagining the same thing in different versions, and I think that this is a transferable skill that has also helped me in my life. I think there's a lot of people out there who are feeling really disillusioned and stuck, and I think it makes total sense to be disappointed that your life didn't turn out how you imagined it would. But I think the solution is to just keep imagining new ways that it could look. The banana fish have really let me practice thinking outside of the box, and for that reason, I feel like I'm not so tied to a conventional life. With Banana Fish in the City, I kind of want to share a little bit of my imagination with somebody who needs it, because maybe it could be the thing that helps them start imagining a different way that their own life could look, and maybe that could be the difference that actually changes things. Something that I miss about living in Taiwan is that there are little characters decorating everything. And when you live somewhere like that, it kind of takes the edge off of how serious and exhausting life can be. I have a friend who keeps a little hula girl pig ornament on the dash of her car so that whenever she gets road rage, she can just look at this little thing and realize, you know what, it's not so serious. With Banana Fish in the City, I kind of wanted to recreate that feeling here in Toronto, and maybe somebody out there who finds one of my banana fish can take the opportunity to step back, take a deep breath, and realize maybe it's not so serious. However, there are plenty of times when it is very serious. There are lots of things happening in the world that require a very serious emotional response, and I don't think that people are being too emotional. I actually think that people are not being emotional enough. I think that one of the problems with the world currently is that having a normal human emotional reaction to things is not prioritized in the systems that run the world. Ideally, these atrocities that are happening across the globe would be treated with great compassion and altruistic intent for justice and dignity. But unfortunately, those things are not always at the top of the list of people's concerns. To some extent, I think these banana fish are also my hope that maybe that can change. Banana Fish in the City isn't about looking on the bright side and forgetting all of the things that are making you unhappy. I think Banana Fish in the City is about practicing things like selflessness and compassion and empathy, and by giving away all of these artworks for free to people, I kind of want to put that out into the world so that maybe the right people in the right positions will be able to make the right decisions for the right reasons. Wow, you must know everything about being right. Actually, I do. And all I can share is my opinion. And it is my opinion because I think it's right. And so if it's not right, feel free to tell me and I will change my opinion. Because that's how it works. Actually, I think I'm right because I've been doing research on this, and I think that this has to do with banana fish because the banana fish is just a creative idea. And everything that I've read about people who make the right decisions, creativity is not far away. So people who practice connecting to the emotions that allow you to make a good decision are usually connecting through some creative practice. And that's why I'm making all of these banana fish to put out into the world. And if I can inspire a little bit of creativity in someone else to start doing the right thing, maybe the world would start to look a little bit different than it does now. I guess my point is that practicing creativity teaches you more than to just be creative. And I think that if you practice enough, whenever it's time to make an important decision, you're able to make the right decision for the right reasons. I know that for me, making banana fish, the banana fish have really informed my perspective beyond just making and creating these cartoon characters. So that's kind of what I want to share with Banana Fish in the City. Perhaps that if everyone had something creative to put themselves into, it would impact the way they make decisions in the rest of their life. I guess what I've discovered is that it's not actually about banana fish. Like, my idea is not so good that it's gonna revolutionize the world, but I think it's more so just about my relationship to the banana fish, because having a relationship with your creativity or with art is something that everyone can have, and it will mean something different to everyone because it'll look different for every individual person. I spent that past year and a half focusing on the banana fish and developing my art and my stories, and I think I've learned a lot about what actually matters. I think it's less about the cartoon characters and more about everything that I've learned about myself and the growth that I've experienced from constantly bettering my art. The banana fish have taught me a lot about resourcefulness and simplicity, about growth and perseverance. I think that these are all things that you can't learn by reading a book or watching a video. You have to learn by doing, because it's gonna look different for you than it does for me. And so it's not that I'm the most virtuous person in the world, but I think I want to use myself as an example, that you can experience a lot of growth and transformation when you really put all of your energy into something that you think matters. And so with Banana Fish in the City, I kind of want to share what that looks like for me. So maybe you can figure out what it looks like for yourself. Moving back to North America after being gone for almost 7 years, I think I was able to see how all about money this place is with a fresh set of eyes. And I also kind of think this is why people here seem so unhappy and so disillusioned. Recently, given the choice of more money in your wallet or make the world a better place, millions of people on this continent chose more money, and I think that kind of says a lot. I also get it, because this is a very expensive place to live, and in order to afford just a very basic, simple life here, you have to spend a lot of money. So it's not an unwarranted anxiety that people have. But I think from my perspective, although that is the way things are here, that's not the way things are everywhere, which kind of shows that there might be a different way to do this. And I think this is something that the Banana Fish have helped me with, because whether I'm making money or not, this is something that I genuinely care about. I think money and the demands of society really pull people away from living a life that they authentically care about. And I think that's part of the problem. Because at the end of the day, all of your struggle and your hard work is for what? Like more stuff? More work? More responsibility? I think that if more people were working hard for something that they genuinely believed in, then it might make a difference in how our future would look. I think the Banana Fish have taught me that there are many ways that you can find value in your life, and it's not just about how many dollars are in your bank account. And this message isn't really aimed at people who are like struggling to put a roof over their head or starving. I think it's for people who have reached a certain level of stability where all of their needs are met, and yet you still feel like it's not enough. I think North America can really feel a lot like it's never enough, which is why people are always striving for more, bigger, bigger, bigger. And I think that if people were able to get in touch with what would be enough for them, then maybe they would be able to see the world in a different way. The Harvard study of adult development found that after you reach a certain level of stability where your needs are met, your level of happiness doesn't increase with your salary. So that goes to show that there must be something else that can bring value to your life. This study also found that purpose and connection are two things that contribute to people living much happier, better lives. I think with this Banana Fish project, I also kind of want to share that, how I can find value in what I'm doing, even if it's not making any money. If everyone was able to feel like they really believed in what they were doing, whatever it is, then I think the world would start to look a little different. I think people's perspectives would change on how much they need and how much they don't need. And maybe some of the things that make us feel powerless right now would start to seem much more manageable and the future much brighter. I think art can help build a better future by showing people how transformative it can be when you genuinely care about something. I think the passion of the artist is something that can teach people a lot. And I'm not so precious about using the word purpose, because I think you could also have no purpose, or your purpose could change every day. But I think the point is more so that you are really engaged in something that you actually care about. I think nowadays so many people just spend their entire life just kind of half caring about what they're doing because they're supposed to. And I think that if we rethink it and really engage with something passionately, that could be the thing that starts to change everything. Making Banana Fish, I think that I've been continuously improving at this thing for years, and it makes me wonder, what if everybody had practiced continually improving at something over a long period of time? Would building a better future seem so difficult if everybody was already used to that? I also think that if everybody was really passionately engaged with their life, then maybe providing a future for that passion would be a top priority, and it wouldn't seem so disposable. And it is very difficult to find something that you're passionate about, but I think what I want to share with Banana Fish in the City is that the Banana Fish are an excellent example of how it can literally be anything, as long as you really care about it. When I came to Canada, I think I wanted to uncover why it is that I care so much about making Banana Fish. And this year and a half that I've spent focusing on my art has allowed me to literally write essays about why I'm doing this and really overthink these silly characters that I work on. And I think sometimes it's good to overthink the thing that you're doing to really give you the conviction to continue doing it in the future. And it makes me wonder, what if everybody really seriously questioned why it is that they're doing what they're doing? Maybe if everybody really understood fully the things that were motivating them, maybe people would start to do things more conscientiously, and maybe the world would start to look like a different place because people were motivated for different reasons. I think this Banana Fish project is also kind of about the art of living. Life's not just about making money and working and stressing and worrying. It's also about those sweet little moments of poetry that make you just stop and be appreciative. And so with Banana Fish in the City, I kind of want to create 100 of those little moments in Toronto for people to stop and just appreciate with no cost and no fee, something just sweet and nice. Because if it can happen to them this time, maybe it will happen to them again. Maybe they'll start paying attention in a way that they weren't before. I think these banana fish are also kind of my reminder to people that the world is noticeably worth sacrificing for when you pay attention to how wonderful it is. And the banana fish are not always sweet and silly. They're often troubled. They're as troubled as I am, but I think my troubles are also less because I have this silly thing to put them into. I think one of the messages of Banana Fish in the City is also that having something creative to put your troubles into can help you focus more on the sweetness that life also has to offer. And I think that focusing on the sweetness as well as the troubles can give you a different perspective on how life can look. I think the banana fish have given me a tool to kind of step outside of myself, take a look, and then step back in. And I think that moment of not being the main character has often helped me deal with my troubles whenever they present. So with Banana Fish in the City, I kind of want to offer that to other people as well. And maybe these 100 ceramics around the city can give people a chance to take a break from being the main character and listen to their own story for a minute. According to my research as well, I think this has always been something that people have looked for and used. This is why there's cave paintings. I think instinctually people have used art to understand themselves and to understand the world around them. And I think that now, as more and more people don't believe in anything, that we're kind of losing that connection to how we understand ourselves. For a long time it was God or Gaia or whatever people believe in that helped them give words and meaning to the lives that they were living. But I think now, in the absence of any belief system, people are often led astray, and perhaps this is part of the problems that the world is facing nowadays. I think people need to satisfy that impulse to imagine, because it's not just a silly thing, it's actually an impulse to understand the world around them. I think for me, the banana fish have kind of become my own mythology that helps me understand the world and my own story and how I feel about it. So I want to share that as well with Banana Fish in the City and bring a little bit of my own mythology to people who might need some creativity to color their world a different way. Because if everybody could see the world in vibrant color, maybe it wouldn't be so gray and disappointing, and people would feel differently about the future that's coming. I think just working on Banana Fish in the City over the past 2 years has allowed the Banana Fish and I to improve a lot, and I can see the growth in my concept and in my characters and also in myself as the artist. One thing that I love to do is look back on old banana fish and see how much they've changed over the years. Because I think that if art is going to teach us anything about how we can make the world a better place, perhaps it's that starting out, it probably won't be going very well. But if you have the conviction and persevere, then things might start to change. And although it might not have been clear from the beginning, eventually it starts to look the way that you imagined. And all of the trying turns out to be worth it. I hope that even after these 100 banana fish are gone from the streets of Toronto, that people will keep looking for them, because I think that whatever your banana fish is, it's out there waiting to be found, and if you're able to find it, perhaps it could be the thing that changes everything for you.